going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So obviously right here we have the brand new M4 MacBook Air. This is the 15-inch version. And over the next several days, I'm excited to test this thing out and see what we can actually do with it. Now, I literally just picked up this MacBook Air yesterday, so I'm still getting kind of everything over to the new machine that I need to so I can use it as my main daily driver over this next week. But I am going to be trying to replace my M3 MacBook Pro, which obviously is a very different machine, and I'll get into why I'm trying to kind of test this out. But I'm uploading another YouTube video right now on my old computer while I get everything over onto the MacBook Air. And once I explain my thoughts with my workflow, it'll make a little bit more sense. But one thing I have to say right off the rip is this sky blue color looks so good on a MacBook. I'm not a big blue guy, honestly, as I have a blue neon sign right behind me. Now, in case this is your guys' first time to this channel, when I do different types of tech reviews, I like to actually just show it in use and talk about real world scenarios and just flat out, is it working for my workflow? Does it not? Where are my pain points? What do I like about it? That type of a video. So I am a full-time content creator. I live off of my MacBook and my different Apple devices to not only run, my brand, which is a personal business, but I also am now a small business owner with my company Lab Culture. This week, I want to use the new M4 MacBook Air as my main workhorse for everything as my computer. And I want to see if it can handle and keep up with what my workflow is, being a full-time content creator and small business owner. And we're gonna see how it kind of goes along the way. Still on that grape. I need to restock the mini fridge in the office, but I had to go to the emergency stock in the main fridge here. So good. I gotta film this clip quickly. It's 1:13. I have a meeting I have to hop on in 2 minutes. A high school teacher reached out to me that does like some social media style classes. Some kids that are interested in content creation and that type of stuff. So I'm actually doing a couple Zoom calls with a couple of her different classes today. Just kind of talking about my journey from high school all the way to being a full-time content creator now. So my mom was actually a teacher my entire life, so teachers hold a special place in my heart. And fun fact, I was actually a college professor for one semester as well, if you didn't know that. But yeah, anyways, so I'm gonna hop on this with them here in a minute. We're gonna do it on the new MacBook Air and see how it sounds, the audio, all that type of stuff. So yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, I'm running a minute behind here. Sorry, I had to get the clip. They should understand, right? You gotta always make sure I don't have any food on my face. You just never know. I do love how light this thing is. It's crazy.
Hey there.
Hey.
All right, 1 second. Let me get you set up.
Yeah, you're good. No worries.
Tell us about yourself, Mr. Jhawk.
Yeah, sure. Give you a little background on myself. I am currently a full-time content creator, and I basically just do social media for a living between brand deals and doing content online through all the different social channels. So all of a sudden I went, overnight from making 6 figures, a very secure job, to collecting an unemployment check, which was like the craziest experience in my entire life. And there's also just a lot of legal things within brand deals that no one really knows what these certain terminology things mean unless you are like a lawyer or an attorney like in this space. There's a term called like perpetuity. And so if it's in a contract in a certain way, if that's in the contract, that means they can use my video till the end of time. So in 50 years, it could still be running a commercial. You might have a contract with someone else that makes you exclusive, and then it becomes a whole legal battle. Well, yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you again so much.
So, okay, that actually went really good. It's funny because I kind of got taken back to high school for a second, and I hated talking in front of a class when I was in high school. I just don't know why, especially early on. Eventually got over it. Kind of slipped me up for a minute. I don't know. I was kind of like overthinking it, but it was really cool to kind of share my creative journey with a bunch of high school students. It was like a huge classroom. If you ever get hit up to do things outside of your normal comfort zone, I try to just accept it, figure it out, because I think that's really the only way you grow. And I think it's always cool to just do new experiences. So yeah, that went pretty awesome. And also I will say this MacBook Air so far, I've been really impressed by it. I will say though, because I got the 15-inch model, it's very light and thin, but I almost kind of wish I got the 13-inch model because it still kind of feels, honestly, not that much smaller than my MacBook Pro. So I don't know, we're gonna have to do some more testing with this, but sounded great, looked good. The front camera on it actually surprised me. It looked really good. Obviously I have some professional lighting, but yeah, looked pretty good. pulled up to Starbucks Reserve. I feel like it's tradition whenever you get a new MacBook that you have to pull up to a coffee shop to work, right? Like it's part of the thing, right? A super portable machine, so I wanted to test out on the go, but had to grab a couple things here. They have like specialty coffees and cups here, so I got a iced vanilla latte with ube sweet cream or cold foam at the top. This looks insane. And then we got a little prosciutto and cheese croissant as well. Let's try this coffee together though. Wow, that is fire. So I'm gonna eat this stuff, and then I got my MacBook in my backpack over here. We're going to get a little bit of work done. Now, obviously a huge piece about MacBook Airs, right? It's just how portable they are. And these things, you know, come jam-packed now. This comes with, obviously we have the M4 chip in it. They come with a baseline of 16 gigs of RAM now. And honestly, I think that's pretty great specs for what most people would need out of this type of machine. Obviously, you only get 2 USB-C ports on it, a headphone jack, and then the power port, which obviously is much less than a MacBook Pro or something else. But again, this is not geared for every single person, especially professional creatives. I more just want to kind of see if it can help or if it can be a tool for a professional creative. And honestly, so far, I'm pretty impressed by it. It's not quite as good as this iced latte. This thing is hitting. And I guess one more point there too maybe is just the fact that, you know, the MacBook Airs traditionally have been geared more towards, I would say, college students, just kind of your everyday type of person doing more kind of what I call admin type of work, emails, social media, documents, or doing presentations, stuff like that. That's kind of what the MacBook Air has traditionally been meant for. But yeah, since these chips are now so powerful, I really just kind of want to see if this thing can be more than just that, you know. But yeah, first impressions of this machine so far, it's honestly been very easy to use and honestly more powerful than I even thought it would be. So far, very impressed. So this specific Starbucks Reserves, because there's a bunch of them all over the country, world maybe, I don't know. But this Starbucks Reserve is 4 floors. First couple are like roasteries, normal coffee shop, breakfast. The floor I was on is experiential coffee, so like some crazy different recipes. And then the top floor, the 4th floor, I believe, is like it's like a cocktail lounge. So like you can get coffee flavored cocktails. So not your standard Starbucks, but very, very cool place and just aesthetic. All right, guys. So it is now the next day. I actually just got back from the gym, picked up a little Chipotle on the way home. If you guys have not tried the new, the Chipotle honey chicken? I'm a huge hot honey person. It is so fire. So as far as right now goes, now go ahead and judge my Chipotle order, okay? But sometimes I'm telling you, soft tacos hit, especially for lunch when you don't want like 1,000,000 calories. A little rice, chicken, cheese, throw a little sauce on there. I'm telling you, this new hot honey chicken, Chipotle honey chicken, whatever it's called, fire. Daphne, you want some too, huh? I feel like this week is just chaos. I've been wanting to update you guys a little bit more, but that's just, you know, how things go. Just got back from the gym, gonna eat this Chipotle real quick, and then I actually have a NDA Zoom call that I can't tell you guys what it is, obviously, but I will say it's something relating to a very large social platform. So that starts in 40 minutes. So I need to eat this, shower, hop on that Zoom call, and then we got to work on some brand deal stuff after that. And I'm going to try to just use the MacBook Air as much as possible. So yeah, let's get after it. All right, so I just got done with the call. Obviously, can't really talk about too much, but it's really cool being able to see things before they come out. Be testing out like a new kind of thing in the next couple months. I won't say anything else, but today is stressful. I'm not even gonna lie. It's now 2:45. I need to shoot B-roll for this DJI campaign and get it sent off to them by end of day. So I basically have like 2.5 hours to do this. I'm doing a project on both of the new mobile gimbals, which they actually are really awesome. But yeah, crunched on time, so I gotta stop chit chatting. I gotta knock this stuff out. So just pulled up to the storage unit. Sorry, the Lab Culture locker. If you guys are new here, I have a tech and lifestyle brand called Lab Culture. This is where we fulfill items out of. If you haven't, you should check out some of my recent vlogs where I talk a little bit more about it. But we have actually a bunch of orders right now. We're pretty much at this point almost completely sold out of everything from our last drop, so the website's gonna close soon. But I included a couple things in my last YouTube video, and when that video went out, we got in about like 10 orders. So gonna pack these up real quick, but I did bring the MacBook with me. I have a couple thoughts I want to update you guys on real quick. All right, so at this point, I've been using this MacBook Air now for the last, I guess, 3 days or so now. And I put out an Instagram reel of me actually going to pick this up, right? And I captioned it, replacing my M3 MacBook Pro with the MacBook Air. I'm not really thinking too much about it because obviously I'm testing it, but the comments are going crazy calling me an absolute idiot. But I want to explain kind of my thought process behind that. I'm not 100% sure yet if I am actually replacing my M3 MacBook Pro, but that has been what I've been using for the last year and a half since it came out. But the 15-inch MacBook Air, the M4 MacBook Air that I'm testing out right now, I guess the reason why I'm thinking about maybe even doing this is because over the past, I would say 3 years now, between my various jobs, I've averaged over 50 flights a year, and I've been on the road absolutely nonstop. So I've kind of always needed to have my computer on the go being my one computer for kind of everything. When I'm on the go, I can do any sort of editing work I need to. Then when I get back home, I can plug it in, and it's really my main computer, right, for all things creative. And you know what? The M3 MacBook Pro was the perfect machine for that. But now that my situation is a little bit different, I am still traveling a good amount, but not near over 50 hours a week. And also I'm just actually using my machine a whole lot more because I obviously no longer have a 9-to-5 job where I'm working on that equipment all day long. My personal equipment is what I use all day long, and I'm spending a whole lot more time working at home now, obviously. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of having something like a MacBook Air for on the go, because honestly, I don't really do that intensive editing anymore on the road, because usually I'm on a few day trip and I do the bulk editing on the way home, or someone else is even starting to help me out doing some of my larger editing like YouTube videos. So yeah, I'm kind of messing with the potential idea of having a MacBook Air for on the go. That's really can do all my admin stuff, maybe some Lightroom photo editing on the go, but really nothing intense. And then having some sort of a different computer at home. Maybe it's a Mac Mini, maybe it's the Mac Studio, I'm not sure yet. TBD, but really kind of step one was obviously testing out the new MacBook Airs, seeing if it's able to do what I need to in that aspect, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. So yeah, the people that think I'm an absolute idiot for replacing my MacBook Pro with the MacBook Air, of course you think I'm stupid without any more context, and I guess we'll see if that actually ends up being what I do or not. But so far, I have been pretty impressed with the MacBook Air. Kind of towards the end of this video, I'll do kind of like a more of a sit down and share a lot of my thoughts, but kind of as I go through my week, I want to just share anything that's kind of top of mind or anything I'm realizing as I go here. But when I do get over here to the locker where I do all the fulfillment out of, most of these hoodies are gonna be gone, and then I'm gonna be packing the shelves, probably not today, but in the coming days with inventory for the next drop. If you guys watched my last vlog or a couple of videos ago, I gave a little sneak peek of that, but I'll probably show you guys what's in those boxes in my next video, to be sure you stay tuned. But very excited for the future of Lab Culture, and I think that's gonna be a big next chapter for us. But yeah, I will say having a computer that is this lightweight and just easy to throw in my backpack is just so nice to have on the go. I am gonna respond to a couple of emails here real quick, pack these orders, and then we gotta go drop them off at the post office here within the next couple hours. So yeah, let's go. You know what? Let's pack an order together here real quick so I can show you guys kind of what I do in the process and tell you a little bit more about lab culture, I suppose. So this order goes out to Taylor Kessler. Shout out Taylor. Good old Texas. This is going to Missouri City, Texas. All right, so we got late night crew hoodie in an XL, one of the last of that. And then also one of the t-shirts from the last drop in a large. So these are going to go in this kind of large poly mailer. It says welcome to the culture. I know I've gotten some questions about these. I'm big into details, so I like to try to have attention to detail in every part of the brand, just because that's kind of my style. This should be a tight fit, kind of perfect for these two. Every order always comes with stickers. For sure, we kind of got a classic one. Got the Lab Culture Circle one too. Got those in there. Got a little thank you card with a brand message on there. This is going in there. I'm not able to write on every single card anymore just because it takes so much time, but I try to write on at least some of them. So always just put some sort of like a little message or something on there. So I'm just gonna say, appreciate you, Jhawk. Throw that in there. And then I got these back in stock. Some of the Lab Culture wristbands. Cool is to have these with all orders moving forward. And I'm always rocking one. It's cool to see it in other people's content out there too. And close this up. That is a fat package right there. The label on it. And boom, that's what we do. So I'm doing this about 10 orders today, but you should have seen us a few weeks ago. Pack out a few hundred orders out of this place. It was a long day, that's for damn sure. But yeah, appreciate all the support on Lab Culture. I do want to say that. I know maybe not everyone is interested in this brand's journey. I know a lot of you guys are, but it's obviously a big and strong passion of mine. And I think it's something that's gonna be within my content for a long time to come. So yeah, going to finish up the rest of these orders and then we're off to USPS. Next day, okay? Honestly, it's just been an insane week, but in case you didn't know, Sprite Zero is hands down the best diet soda. I could drink these all day long. But so far within this video, I've kind of talked about why I'm trying out the Air. Some of the things I like about it, especially being on the content creator side of this, right? We need to know what this MacBook Air is actually capable of. So I'm doing a couple tests right now, all right? So I've been using the Air really as my main computer for the past several days now, ever since I picked it up. And last night I actually edited my first video on the MacBook Air. It was actually a reel with these shoes right here, which actually, you know what? Before I tell you performance-wise, let me tell you about these shoes real quick because they are sick. You guys got to take a closer look at these because these might be my sneaker of the year if I'm being honest with you. So actually in one of my last videos, I talked about another one of my favorite pairs of shoes. Actually, let me show you. It's these Nigel Sylvester Jordan 1s. These are actually from 2018. These are one of my grails. Well, these just dropped, and personally for me, they are the sneaker of the year. They are the Air Jordan 4 Retro Nigel Sylvester collab, and these are called the Brick by Brick colorway. Kind of an ode to all the bricks used in New York City. Nigel is a professional BMX rider, so we got the bike air on the back. And just the entire storytelling of this entire launch and shoe was super, super cool. All the way down to the box that it came in. It's actually textured like a brick. Yeah, the entire rollout of this shoe and project is honestly super inspiring and something that, you know, I pull inspiration from with the type of content and work that I do. And I know not everybody understands being into sneakers, and that's totally okay. But the reason I'm talking about these and kind of the tie-in for them is I shot a Instagram reel last night and I edited the video for the very first time on the new M4 MacBook Air. So that was my first kind of trial of video editing. Obviously, you know, it's a very short video. I'll throw it on the screen. I think it turned out fire. It was about, I think, a 15-second video, but obviously a ton of layers, ton of sound effects. So I edited it in the MacBook Air. It really gave me no trouble. And then I wanted to compare kind of the experience versus my M3 MacBook Pro. So yeah, let me go back over to the main desk to tell you more about this. But yeah, these shoes are super fire. Nigel is a true GOAT and inspiration to me. I actually have one of his books sitting over here for the past, I don't know, couple years in my office. And it was actually cool enough, I got to meet him at one of the Sony events I went to last year. I remember we were both at kind of like the after party event thing. I walked up to him, I dapped him up, and I was like, bro, you got your own Jordan collab. That is absolute goals. And we like laughed and we talked for a few. So it was cool. But yeah, he's a true GOAT in the space, someone that I get a lot of inspiration from. So obviously adding something like this to my collection, it has more meaning to me than just a cool pair of shoes. And I'm trying to kind of complete the Nigel collection in my collection, and I think I'm actually pretty much there. Okay, so right now we have my M3 MacBook Pro right here. I got the M4 MacBook Air right here. So I edited that shoe reel on the MacBook Air last night. Honestly, not the craziest intense project, but it was just kind of a normal Instagram reel for me, the amount of intensity I would say that it takes for your computer. Really the hardest part about it is just the codecs that these cameras use, but any of these new Apple M chips are able to handle it very, very well. I really didn't have any hiccups on the MacBook Air while I was editing, but I thought it'd be interesting to compare the export times. So I exported that same Instagram reel on both machines. On the M3 MacBook Pro, it exported in like almost 8 seconds. It was like 7.45, I think it was. So let's just say 8 seconds on the M3 MacBook Pro, then on the M4 MacBook Air, it exported it in like 18.5 seconds. So obviously that's a very short video. It's only like a 15-second video, but it does kind of show you that difference. I gotta say this because people will come at me in the comments. I know this machine is not gonna be as powerful as this machine. We're talking like a $1,300 computer versus like almost a $4,000 computer that I got last year. We're talking M3 MacBook Pro, 128 gigs of RAM, absolute monster, versus the baseline 15-inch M4 MacBook Air, okay? So it's a big difference. So that was a great test for just kind of like a more typical short form vertical video, but I wanted to obviously try out kind of a tougher project. So, nice, another siren. There's just always sirens going off in downtown Chicago. It is what it is. People think I live in like a war zone. Chicago's not like that. You just haven't traveled if that's what you think. So I wanted to try out a tougher project. So I opened up one of my most recent kind of big YouTube videos, which was my trip to New York City with Sony. It's about a 30-minute vlog with a ton of layers, a ton of audio files. It's a monster of a project. So I wanted to test out the export times on those two computers with that project, obviously. And it actually just finished up on the MacBook Air here. So on the M3 MacBook Pro, it took 7 minutes and 33 seconds. 7 minutes and 33 seconds. And then on the M4 MacBook Air, remember the vertical video, it was about double the amount of time. And it looks like that's about the same for a long video as well. So it was 7.5-ish minutes. On the M4 Air, we got almost 15 minutes. So 14 minutes and about 45 seconds. So you can tell, obviously, a $1,300, let's say $1,500 machine with tax is not going to compare to not even a year old, $4,000 absolutely monster of a machine. Honestly, I feel like that's pretty impressive and pretty good for having a baseline MacBook Air. You're talking about a computer that doesn't even have built-in internal fans. So that's kind of insane. And then two more things kind of performance-based here. One, you see some design stuff going on in the back there. I'm working on some design stuff for Lab Culture. This is actually just a sample. Someone asked me about this shirt before, but I'm working on some future design stuff. So obviously a perfect time to try out some different type of performance apps on this MacBook Air. So I've been using Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and then also some Lightroom with some photo editing. This thing has no problems with with some light photo editing. I'm not doing anything insane, but just, you know, dropping in some photos, using my Lightroom presets, cleaning it up, that type of stuff. No issue at all on the MacBook Air. If you're looking to tether your camera and running through, you know, Capture One and all this stuff for your photo shoot, I don't think you're gonna be using a MacBook Air anyways, right? There's only a couple ports on it. But my point of bringing up me working on some future merch stuff for Lab Culture, which if you guys are interested, there might still be some stuff available down below. If not, join the wait list. I think there's a couple of these hats left right now, but yeah, we're mostly sold out at this point, but we got some fire stuff coming soon. But this week is actually a heavy design week for me. I don't do all the designs myself. I have a designer I actually work with, but you know, your boy used to be a graphic design, so I can get in my design bag every now and then. But I'm just working on some mock-ups and some sketches. And using Illustrator and stuff, honestly, has been totally fine on the MacBook Air as well. Obviously, I'm being very transparent here. I'm not doing insane projects or anything. But again, if you just need to do kind of some light creative work on the go, I truly have no complaints about the MacBook Air. So I've been genuinely pretty damn impressed with it. Honestly, I feel like this entire week, I've just been absolutely locked in here. Between brand deals, lab culture stuff, obviously trying to test out this MacBook. There's just a lot of moving parts going on right now. It's one of those things where I don't know how I was able to do this type of stuff beforehand when I was working a full-time job at the same time. So mad respect to any of you out there who have a full-time job and are hustling on top of it. I've been there, trust me. But I figured, you know, everyone always thinks my office is absolutely perfect. This is very much a working space. So as you can even see over here, like check this out. I always have something playing on the TV, but this is an absolute mess. Like that drives me insane. But you know, when you have different products coming in, different brand deals, things I have to not be showing, I just need somewhere to shove it out of the way when I'm filming other stuff. And that's just kind of what happens. I mean, even my desk right now is not that clean. This is just kind of the raw look at it all, you know? Just kind of is what it is. It's not as pretty and as sexy as you always think. I mean, honestly, I'm letting this vlog be a little bit more raw than even I like, because this doesn't even look clean, the shoe collection. There is a shoe tour coming soon, okay? I get asked about it all the time. This was truthfully the last pair I was waiting to come in, so I have no excuse now. So stay on me about the shoe tour, because it's on its way. So I don't know what's going on, but it's been a couple hours since I last updated you guys, and it's like an insane thunderstorm going on downtown right now, right before sunset. It's been so loud. I just saw lightning like 10 seconds ago, so you might see it somewhere in the background, but yeah, I don't know what is going on outside right now. All right, I don't think I've actually ever filmed from this angle over here before. This is actually Miranda's desk setup over here when she works from home. So I actually got some nice lighting with this thunderstorm going on. Okay, so let me give you guys some kind of final thoughts to kind of wrap up this video. All right, the M4 MacBook Air. I've now spent an entire week with it. I've used it for everyday types of tasks that everyone does, writing emails, watching YouTube videos, writing documents, concepts, note-taking, calendar stuff, all the way to testing out some of the actual kind of content creation stuff that I normally do, right? Some design stuff in Illustrator, some photo work in Lightroom, even some video tests that I showed you guys earlier in Premiere Pro. Here's kind of quickly my final thoughts on it to kind of wrap it up. Should you buy one? Should you not? Who is this type of computer actually for? Plain and simple, this type of a computer is going to be enough of a laptop for a very large group of people. If you don't need any sort of crazy performance out of your computer, you want something that comes in at a reasonable price that's going to last you years, that's perfect for just kind of the everyday type of laptop user. The emails, the calendar stuff, the admin things, the writing documents. This computer is gonna be more than enough for you. Now, if you are a creative professional and do photo or video work for a living, maybe even 3D rendering, whatever, more intensive type stuff, just do yourself a favor and get a MacBook Pro instead. The MacBook Air, although with the M4 chip it is very powerful, it's just not meant for a pro creative user. You don't have as good of a display. You don't even have the same ports on it. You have 2 USB-Cs, MagSafe, and a headphone jack, versus on a Pro, you have 3 USB-C slots, MagSafe, headphone jack, and even an HDMI port and an SD card slot. So that alone, right, I use all those ports frequently. And then obviously it's a very big performance difference as well. Now there's kind of a third category of kind of what I've brought up within this video, right? which could potentially be something I'm looking for, where I'm obviously a professional creative, but I'm kind of looking for just a simpler laptop or something not as crazy for on the go. If I'm not doing intensive editing stuff on my laptop, right? Because why would I need that? Because currently my MacBook Pro, it travels with me when I'm at home. It's plugged into my two monitors, sorry, and that is what I do all my work off of. So for that category, the kind of creator on the go laptop, I actually think it could really be good for that. I think really the only thing to consider if that's kind of the category you're looking into is the fact that the 15-inch MacBook Air compared to the 16-inch Pro here, yes, it's lighter, yes, it's thinner, but it's really not that much smaller. So if your main complaint about a MacBook Pro is the fact that it's so big, the 15-inch Air really isn't that much smaller in a backpack. You don't really notice a huge difference. If you get a 13-inch Air, I'm sure it's a bigger difference, but again, you could get a 14-inch Pro as well. So it just kind of depends on what you want and what you're trying to get out of it. But again, I think if you're just kind of an everyday type of user, or honestly, even if the only thing I did on this laptop was my small business stuff with Lab Culture, emails, Shopify, marketing emails, some light design work, I think it'd be fine. But also one more thing I forgot to add in earlier is since the MacBook Air doesn't have internal fans, yes, you can do creative work, but eventually if it's very intensive and this thing warms up, it may throttle your performance, which obviously you get a big upper hand with the Pros. So yeah, everyday user, the MacBook Air, great option. If you are a creative professional or you're making money with content or you just want more performance, go with the Pro. It's really as simple as that. So guys, that is gonna be it for me in today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching kind of this week in the life, taking you behind the scenes of me trying out this new MacBook Air. Obviously doing a bunch of behind the scenes stuff with my own personal brand, with Lab Culture stuff. It's been a crazy week and it doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. So drop me any questions you have down below about the MacBook Air or anything else that I can help you guys out with. Let me know if you want to see some more content like this in the future. And with all that being said, be sure to drop this video a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.